We almost never cover scary stuff on this channel. I find with us it's less of a
I want to play a game,
and more of a
you want to play a little game?
I just wanted to get that out of the way early. Although, I must admit, I'd love to see Jigsaw go after my darkest fighting game fears.
Today, we'll see if you really did take that throw.
I was thinking about what areas of Mortal Kombat have always had atmosphere, and it really stuck out to me that, yeah, there is something in Mortal Kombat that has that: the Crypt. The Crypt is a bonus extra mode usually tied to unlocking content that's existed for many years. Up until Mortal Kombat 11, the Crypt had been in every single mainline game since Deadly Alliance, and today's video uncovers the evolution of this game mode, and it shows just how many different forms this mode has had over the years. I guess I should preface this video by saying, yes, there will be a couple of jump scares here. NetherRealm became rather evil with the Crypt in the later games, and you'll see why very, very soon. However, join me today and let's uncover the journey of the Mortal Kombat Crypt. So, what was the first ever Crypt in Mortal Kombat, you ask? Well, it's Deadly Alliance. Now, this was a cool mode that involved the player unlocking a whole number of different things over time. From concept art, to behind-the-scenes videos, to promotional material, the options were extremely varied. Now, the most impactful to the game itself was that this was how you unlocked the extra characters. Usually, they belonged to the more expensive chests. This was done by earning currency in the game itself, obtained just by playing the game, pretty much. You'd get different types of coins, and the coffins would require X amount of whatever currency to open up. The hardest currency to earn was the Onyx coins, as they are only obtainable, for the most part, by completing the mini-games of Test Your Might and Test Your Sight, and they weren't appearing very commonly in this game, so they would take much longer to gather than the others. Some of the Crypt coffins could actually reward you with Onyx coins as well, but it's very much a lucky dip, because there is just so many coffins here. It definitely wasn't all good. Some of these coffins had dud prizes. Most of the time, these dud coffins would be completely empty, and the game just laughs at you. Or, the one I remember the most fondly, when you get rewarded one shiny ruby coin. What a jerk that announcer is. Because there are so many coffins with a cheap number attached, you can actually open quite a few of them with a mere 100 of each currency. I remember back in the day just kind of losing myself here for a bit, just opening coffins, checking out the stuff that I've unlocked, looking up all the behind-the-scenes videos. It was really cool to see this level of developer input back then, because normally, especially for its time, this was pretty hard to come by, especially in-game. It was just a really nice feature, and something that gave the game a bit more replayability for the 2000s. You had stuff like the arcade mode, the conquest mode, which was, to be fair, more of a tutorial in MKDA. You'd earn money just by playing the game, and this money was spent in the Crypt to unlock all the cool extra features. One of the more famous videos in this game is the legendary Cooking with Scorpion video, where he's wearing the classic costume and he's preparing a feast.
This week on Cooking with Scorpion, learn about chopping, tenderizing, chopping, cake decorating, and chopping.
Sometimes it's pieces of Mortal Kombat history being preserved for those that aren't in the know, like when some of the Mortal Kombat cast made their way into Grid, a fantastic arcade game back in the day, made by many of the Mortal Kombat team members. The team also made these strange but funny extras. It's kind of hard to explain here, so let's just take a look at a few of them. Natara's energy drink, Reptile's skin lotion, Kano's cereal, Quan Chi on the sax, Feelings, a collection of poems and essays, Kenji's collection of glass eyes, Su Hao with his Valentine's Day chocolates all over the floor, dude, that's so sad. Shang Tsung's insoles with a picture just begging to become a YouTube thumbnail. And Goro rocking out on the drum kit. But then you also get these really odd ones that are just like Why? The Doodies 32-pack of large adult diapers. For recreational use only, please recycle. What is this? What in-joke led to the creation of this? Who is that? Oh yeah, don't forget the canned squid. Always gotta have that jumbo squid handy. Ultimately, this was just a nice way to introduce a game mode that we had no idea would stick around for as long as it did. Good memories all round, I suppose. Now, I should say that there isn't much point in this video going over Mortal Kombat Deception, because the crypt in function and what you get as a reward is completely identical. It looks a bit different, but it is functionally the exact same idea. So if you know about the Deadly Alliance crypt, you know about the Deception one as well. The final crypt in the 3D era was Armageddon. Now, I have to say, this is, for me, by far the weakest version of the crypt. I can't say I'm surprised though, as clearly the workload for Armageddon was pretty massive with such a stacked roster of over 60 characters. Then you had like the motor combat, the conquest mode, the creator fighter. I can't imagine a crypt mode in the style of previous games was particularly a priority when there was so much else to work on. This one's very much just a collection of icons that you spend coins on to unlock stuff. The actual content itself is the same idea. You got concept art behind the scenes, there's a really cool concept for an animated character bio for Ermac here. This stuff is all still preserved, so at least we have that. There just isn't as much mystery or atmosphere. Not to mention that they finished away with the different currency. Armageddon only had the one type of coin, so it was actually generally easier to unlock stuff. Some things in the game could be unlocked via the conquest mode, and you can find it in the crypt. There was a little secret icon where different combinations can unlock things like the hidden characters, so Taven, Dagon, Meat, Blaze. You didn't have to play the conquest mode to unlock them, so that was pretty nice. But I'd have to say Armageddon is definitely my least favorite crypt. It just doesn't have the same spirit the previous games did. You get some cool sector information though, like how he almost had a laser staff as a weapon, or that the concept for his potential appearance in Motor Kombat is like Cyrax's car, but red. Shocker there, I know. We also find out that Sector enjoys listening to rock and smooth city jams. Neat. I feel like I should definitely mention that if we're talking about the crypt, we should cover all versions that include it, and that includes the Game Boy Advance version of Deadly Alliance and Tournament Edition. Now I'm showing Deadly Alliance here, and it actually had a crypt. It didn't have as many coffins as the main console games, and in this game it was mostly serving a purpose to unlock various different skins. Now there's not much to it, but I definitely felt like for this video, I gotta mention it. Mortal Kombat 9 brought back the crypt, and it actually remains very similar to what the crypt was like before. It's just a lot more evil this time round. So, the whole idea of unlocking things like concept art and music and all that is still there. But it's more known here for being a means to easily access characters' alternate costumes and extra fatality inputs. The method to actually unlock everything is exactly the same as the previous games. There's a bunch of different things that you interact with, and you open them up with coins that you earn by playing the game. Now I've got tons of coins here because I've played MK9 for years, and I've never actually bothered using the crypt because you could just unlock alternate costumes by clearing the arcade. And even then, the Complete Edition came out, which had all that stuff anyway. So, the difference with the crypt is that you have different objects you can interact with this time. Now, the method of unlocking stuff is the same no matter what, that doesn't change. It's just different animations. And the fact that this crypt has 4 sections: a graveyard, a swamp, a forest, and a not-so-nice field of devices. I can't show all of these because it's a bit gnarly and it's YouTube. Aside from the crypt itself, you have an extra section called the Necropolis, somewhere you can go to view the character bios, the character costumes, and take a look at all that concept art you've gathered. It's very similar to previous games, once again, but is a direct separate section this time, and it just has that extra little bit of presentation. The MK9 crypt is very simple. And to be honest, there's nothing left to say about it. It is a visually upgraded version of the previous games. However, anyone that has ever played the crypt in this game will know exactly what I'm going to say next, because there is a jump scare warning in 3, 2, 1. That's right, NetherRealm decided to add a jump scare to the crypt in this game. How nice of them. I love that. I love that so much. I should certainly hope they don't keep that idea going into the next game. Ah! Oh my god, dude! Oh my god. How am I still not used to this? Ah! God's sake, man! Why am I so... Oh. Like, I know it's coming as well. Ah! Fuck off! Give me them coins. Buy some new fucking underwear with it. I can't remember how long... Ah! Can't remember how long these caverns are. Get me out of here. The Mortal Kombat X Crypt is pure evil. Don't get me wrong, it's awesome. It's just really, really evil. So the idea is exactly the same. There's a whole bunch of stuff that you interact with, and you spend currency to unlock a bunch of in-game content. Most notably here, though, it's the brutalities, as it was new to Mortal Kombat X, and there's a lot of them. It's the actual presentation here that makes it insane. This becomes a fully immersive first-person Mortal Kombat experience. Yeah, you're stuck on a grid, and it's not like a first-person video game. It is just a means of navigating this world, but the visuals are just so gorgeous, and they still hold up to this day. I did a full crypt run-through for the purpose of this video, and it's unbelievable how good it felt to just have headphones on and walk around this miniature Mortal Kombat world. The areas range from things like a forest outside, or even Shao Kahn's fortress. It's got that distinct, like, nasty MKX visual style, and by nasty, I don't mean bad. I mean, this is probably the most visceral Mortal Kombat they've ever made, and the visuals of the crypt absolutely match that. When it comes to jump scares, though, this is where the MKX Crypt gets a little bit overboard. So in every area, pretty much, there are random instances where something attacks you out of the dark. It starts a little quick time event, and if you press the button at the right time, you get some extra coins. Now, there's no real penalty for mistiming this, you just don't get the coins, that's all. The point of the crypt here is that it's actually a little first-person puzzle journey. You find various MK character items in all of the different areas, and you interact with things using the right item at the right time, and you'll unlock even more of the map, in turn getting coins and unlocking more areas with stuff that you can unlock in-game. It is such a cool way of doing things because it's a small game within a game, and yeah, it's not crazy in-depth, but it's really fun to go back to and figure out all this stuff. I'd forgotten everything, but I had a great time. For most of it. This brings me on to the Spider Cave. This godforsaken area of the game is the worst thing I've ever experienced in Mortal Kombat because I have arachnophobia. What you heard earlier was genuinely my first time in almost 10 years playing through the crypt, and just being reminded of how horrific this section of the game actually is. This whole section is something I just had to face and deal with because I needed to get through it for the purpose of this video. The only problem is that this cave is definitely the longest section of the crypt, so you're in the caves longer than you're anywhere else. I got used to it eventually, but that doesn't mean I was happy about it. And you want to know something funny? You could actually unlock the entirety of the crypt for about $20, and there are players that have spoken to me in the past saying that they bought the crypt unlock just so they didn't have to deal with the jump scares. That's one of the crazy things about it. But overall, the MKX Crypt is visually stunning for a mode like this, and something I really did enjoy going back to. It was so cool for such a simple idea. However, things would definitely change in a big way for the next game. Mortal Kombat 11 is the pinnacle of the crypt. The exploration and the journey of MKX taken to a whole new level in a third-person adventure mode. You play as this unnamed warrior on Shang Tsung's island. Shang Tsung himself, voiced by KRYPT, I might remind you, guides you through this journey with some godlike narration. Shang Tsung's island has all of the famous landmarks like the Warrior Shrine, the Pit, Goro's Lair, to name a few, and even more hidden away into the dark depths that those brave enough can wander. What's awesome here is that because MK11 was so heavily built on character customization, the Crypt has an absolute ton of unlockable content that can be used in-game, rather than stuff like concept art, that while that's definitely interesting, it's not as ideal as stuff that you can use to actually customize your character for a game like MK11. It means the possibility for good rewards is so much more prominent. Everything you open could now have something for the character you play, so sky's the limit on what you can open and how much it may benefit you. The game mode still has puzzles and exploration for finding new items, using those items to progress. Things like Scorpion's Spear to reveal certain crates or hit things that are out of reach, Ermac's Medallion to interact with soul containers, which is one of the currencies, and all of it rewards you further. The exploration component just gets ramped up so many times compared to the previous versions we've had before. It's definitely not just exploration though. There are obstacle courses and the threat of danger thanks to swinging blades or other contraptions hidden around the world. You can actually get attacked by a creature that looks like meat, which you have to use Shao Kahn's hammer to deal with. But sadly, in my whole time filming this, that guy didn't actually appear a single time, so you're just gonna have to take my word for it. The best thing about the Crypt in this game is that it truly does feel like an extra game within the game. Something that had real time and love and care put into it to keep things feeling so deliciously Mortal Kombat. Full to the brim of Easter eggs, old references. I mean, just being able to explore Shang Tsung's island on your own is absolutely ridiculous. One such Easter egg is a skeleton in Goro's lair with a turkey leg and an eye patch, a reference to Trevor Goddard in the original MK movie where he's chowing down and talking to Goro. You know the one. Rest in peace, Trevor. Your Kano was next level. This is by far my absolute favorite Crypt in the history of the franchise. It's made me long for some kind of third-person MK adventure one day, because it was just so good for the MK nerd in me to finally see the entire island and walk around amidst all this nostalgia. The only issue is, I couldn't get as far as I wanted. When I entered the room to get Kenshi's blindfold, which is a crucial progression item, I just kept getting kicked out of the server and it would close the mode, so I genuinely couldn't progress. Sorry about that, folks. And that is the progression of all the different Crypt modes. I thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed your end of October festivities, and all of those that take place during early November as well. Look after yourselves, everyone, and I will see you next time. Take care.